Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. All right, all good?
Yeah, just one note.
Yeah.
Good morning and welcome to WellSprings. My name is Julie and my pronouns are she and her. And I'd like to welcome everyone to come on and have a seat here in Bell Hall and get comfortable if you're tuning in from home. We're so glad that everyone is with us today, physically or in spirit or online. So we're going to get started by singing some songs. So please rise, whether in body or in spirit, and join us on this first one if you happen to know it. I know you're fed up. Life don't let up for us. All they talk about is what's been going down, what's been messed up for us. When I look around, I see blue skies, I see butterflies for us. Listen to the sound and lose it in sweet music and dance with me. There is beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world, always beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world. Shake your booty, boys and girls, for the beauty in the world. Pick your diamond, pick your pearl, there is beauty in the world. Clap along now. We need more loving, we need more money. They say change is gonna come like the weather. They say forever, they say. So look there in between, notice the blue skies, notice the butterflies, notice me. Stop and smell the flowers and lose it in sweet music and dance with me. There is beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world, always beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world. Shake your booty, boys and girls, for the beauty in the world. Pick your diamond, pick your pearls, there is beauty in the world. All together now. Hey, yeah, throw your hands up and holler. Hey, yeah, throw your hands up and holler when you don't know what to do. And you've gotta make it through. Remember, God has given you beauty in the world. So much beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world, always beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world. Shake your booty, boys and girls, all the beauty in the world. Pick your diamond, pick your pearls, there is beauty in the world. There is beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world, always beauty in the world, so much beauty in the world. Shake your booty, boys and girls, all the beauty in the world. Pick your diamond, pick your pearls, there is beauty in the world. Go ahead and take a seat for the next one. Teresa will lead us in When God Made Me. Was God thinking about my country or the color of my skin? Did God bow about my religion or the way I worshiped them. Did God create just me in her image, or every living thing? When God made me, when God made me, was God planning only for believers, or for those who just had faith? Did God envision all of the wars that were fought in that name? Did God say there was only one way to be close to them? When God made me, when God made me, did God give me the gift of love to say who we could choose? When God made me, when God made me, when God made me, when God made me, did God give me the gift of voice so some could silence me? Did God give me the gift of vision, not knowing what I might see? Did God give me the gift of compassion to help my fellow man? When God made me, when God made me, when God made me, when God made me. Please rise for our next song. I know you know this one, When Joy Come Back. When Joy Comes Back. Please sing along.
I need coffee for this one.
I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready when joy comes back to me. 'Cause I've been downhearted. Been downhearted. I've been downhearted, but I won't be down for long. 'Cause I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. Wanna be ready
Who needs coffee after that? Welcome to WellSprings, both to those here in Bell Hall and to those joining us online this morning. My name is Chris Grappi. My pronouns are he and his, and I'm honored and blessed to be leading our worship service today. Each week when we gather, we light a chalice as a symbol of our shared spiritual heritage as Unitarian Universalists. Not just a symbol of what is past, but of what is present, that divine spark, the inner light that shines at the heart of each of our lives. And as we light this chalice, may we share our light with each other and with the world. We've asked Jim and Barbara to come forward to light the chalice, and after they've done so, we will say the words together on the screen. We light this chalice to celebrate the path lit before us, the warmth of kindness that shines from within us, and the radiance of wisdom that is shared between us and never goes out. Thank you. Good morning. All right. Our mission here at WellSprings is to be a community charged full with the charge of the soul. And this morning I'd like to share briefly with you what's been charging my soul lately. And I got to tell you, I basically just decided what I was going to say about 2 seconds ago. So I had like two different things in mind. So I guess I'll go really with a funny story about my son. And he knows I'm going to share. I might have shared this. So this summer he got a summer job. He got a couple summer jobs. And one of the jobs was outside, doing a lot of work and everything like that. And he made some money, and he actually invested some of it, which was cool. But then he got another summer job in downtown Wayne, which is near where we live. And he texted me one day to come pick him up. And I said, well, I thought you were done at 6:30. And this is like, no, pick me up at 7:15. And I said to him, well, what are you doing? He said, oh, I'm getting food. Now, I don't know. When I was 16, getting food out, walking around with my friends and stuff, it's like, let's stop and get a slice of pizza or something like that. No. My son texted me a picture of Teresa's, which is where, if you're familiar with that, it's not Wawa. It's not a pizza shop. They serve, adult beverages and mussels and all these things. And I'm like, what are you doing? And so he said, well, they had the menu looked really good, and they said they would serve me. And I said, okay, great. So I go, and I pick him up, and then he looks at me. He just gotten the bill. He's paying with his own money. And he looks at the bill, and he says, what do I do with this next? I said, well, you give him your card. And you figure out the tip and all that, and they'll bring your debit card back. So seeing your kid become more and more independent, trusting that they're going to do the right thing if unexpectedly, charges me. And it reminded me a lot of, when the Rumi poem about your children are not really your own. It just hits home to you more and more all the time whenever you look at your own children, if you have your own kids. So that's what's charging me on this sunny August day. So this morning, I'd like to especially welcome any newcomers. If this is your first or second time with us, we're very glad you're here. I hope you fill out a connection card so you can learn more about us and start to introduce yourself. If you're watching from home, there's a link to the online connection card in the description below the video. Anybody can fill out the connection card on your phone through the WellSprings app also, or see any of the greeters in the back of the room if you all want to wave. The greeters back there somewhere, there's a couple. Okay. If you want to interact with folks joining online this morning, there's a live chat available on YouTube. To access it, you need a YouTube or Google account. Just sign in and click the live chat button and say hello. And finally, you'll always find more information about today's service, as well as upcoming news and events through the WellSprings app or by scanning the QR code available on the welcome table. Sometimes it's up on the screen, just by the front doors as you walk into the hall. So we have a few pieces of news to highlight this weekend, and for that, I'll turn it over to our Membership and Communications Coordinator, Jessica Heichel.
Hi WellSprings, my name is Jessica Heichel with your announcements for this week. So as usual, here is our QR code. To access that, all you need to do is open up your phone's camera. That will take you to today's order of service, which has links with more information for everything that I'm talking about today. Up first, we have a pretty cool announcement. We have made it really easy for folks who are interested in hosting one-time small group discussions that we call Soul Bites. What we've done is we are taking each message series throughout the year and we are creating an outline for a Soul Bite. So you would not have to do any type of planning in how to run the group discussion. We would have that kind of pre-done for you. All you have to do is pick a location and a time that works for you to host it. So at your home, at a playground, at a coffee shop, at a library, wherever works for you and whenever works for you. Right now we're looking for a few folks to host a few different sessions of the Soul Bite that we have outlined for our upcoming message series called Off the Fence. If you are interested in finding out more about that, scan this QR code. That will take you to a link that will tell you more about this, and you'll also be able to check out that outline before you decide either way. Second announcement, we are looking to get a WellSprings book club started. So if you are interested in reading and discussing books along with fellow Wellspringers, we would love to hear from you. This is still very much in the planning stages right now, so if this sounds like something you'd be interested in, scan that QR code and that will take you to a page that talks a little bit more about this and also gets you in contact with Terry Rothermel, who is kind of organizing this from the ground up. So really good time to get involved. We have not decided when or where or what books yet, so if you would like to have input on that, we would love to hear from you. And final announcement, there are still plenty of opportunities to volunteer with WellSprings kids and youth, and really little kids too, in the nursery. So we're looking for folks who can help out with any and all. Scan that QR code. That will take you to a description of what it means to volunteer with Youth Spirit Kids, and it can also put you in touch with Carol Breslin, our Youth Spirit Director. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you next week.
So at WellSprings, the foundation of all we do is rooted in the power of connection, of making space in our hearts and our lives for each other. This is the part of the service where we honor that connection by greeting one another. We recognize the community's presence beyond these walls, so feel free to take a moment also to connect and share a greeting in the live chat or say hello in WellSprings Oasis, our private group on Facebook. And for those here in Bell Hall, just a reminder, please ask before hugging or approaching closely. If you prefer to keep your distance from others for any reason, just stay seated. That'll be the cue to give you a friendly wave from afar. With gratitude for all the ways we might connect, please greet one another now. How are you? Good.
I don't know what I play, so. Like, what should we do? Blues?
Thank you. Those here in Bell Hall are invited to continue the conversation at coffee hour after service, which will be right here or outside, rather. I invite you now to our time of generosity, an opportunity to express our gratitude for and commitment to the ways this spiritual community has an impact on all of our lives. We sustain WellSprings now and into the future through our contributions. If you can use your phone to give from anywhere. Just text WSprings to 73256. It is also easy and convenient to automate your giving on Realm. Our greeters will also be bringing hats around for those who wish to donate by hand, or you can drop a check or a cash donation into the box near the front doors on the welcome table. Thank you for all the ways your gifts support WellSprings. Our offering will now be gratefully received. Having shared energy between us and giving beyond us, let's take time now to reground into the deep and soulful energy that is within us. We do this by doing what is most simple and elemental in our lives. We take a breath, inhaling and exhaling without rush or hurry, breathing in, breathing out. There's nowhere else to go, nowhere else to be. Let us cultivate peace and experience presence together. As we prepare for our time of mindful silence, we follow these words from Thich Nhat Hanh. If we want to enter heaven on earth, we need only one conscious step and one conscious breath. Wherever it is that we are, whatever it is that we are doing, however it is that we are feeling, let us remember that peace and presence are always as close to us as is our own breath. May this be so for us this moment, may it be so for this day, and may it be so for all of us in the days to come. And now, I'd like to invite our congregation's children to join staff and volunteers in the back of the room for their time of fellowship in youth spirit. Grown-ups attached to said children, please remember to pick them up after the service is over, and let's have the band up here for the next song.
Please rise and join us on our next song. There's a train a-coming. You don't need no baggage. You just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. You don't need no ticket. You just thank the Lord. People get ready for the train to join it. It's picking up passengers from coast to coast. Faith is the key, open the doors and board it. There's hope for all among those loved the most. So people get ready, there's a train a-coming. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. Getting ready, getting ready, getting ready, getting
I can feel that energy in the room from our parents in the congregation, especially getting ready for school. All right. It is, what, is it late August now officially? I think it is. And I can hear those sounds when we sat for our silent meditation. The sounds of the bugs and the birds outside in the heat. The sounds of the children playing quietly in the back of the room. The sounds of maybe a Sunday morning service where a handful of people are on vacation, where some of us are tired. We are where we are. And we are here now with 3 weeks left in the summer. Sorry to let you know that. And 3 weeks left in our message series for the end of summer. Our Neighbors and Helpers series in August, where we invite a guest from the community beyond WellSprings doors to share a bit about their experiences so that we can get to know some of our neighbors here together in this congregation. And today's guest is an interesting one because Sharon Browning was introduced to us as a congregation through a personal connection rather than a community-wide connection. Her nephew, sorry Chris, calling you out, is Chris Reeder. Chris, who serves on our tech team and is here almost every Sunday with his family. And Sharon's work with her organization, Just Listening, is actually focused on the very same practices that we are trying to cultivate and live out in putting together this message series every year. Just Listening works to bring about positive changes and social transformation in various communities by fostering intentional and compassionate communication practices between different individuals and between groups. She helps people to hear and know each other as an act of justice. And because she is a facilitator of communication, One thing Sharon was really clear about when we reached out to her to see if she'd want to come here today was that she didn't just want to talk to me this morning. We will be doing a little bit of that to start, but she wanted to talk with all of you. And she wanted to encourage you to talk with each other, to practice some of what she facilitates today. So this is going to be a little different, and it'll be a bigger conversation today. But we are going to start off with just a few questions for you all to get to know Sharon from me. So I'll invite her up onto the stage now. Let's give Sharon Browning a warm welcome. Yeah. Yeah, you match the chairs.
Purple.
So Sharon, thanks again for being here with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Of course. So I told you a little bit before we started that one of the purposes of this message series is to get to know our neighbors. So I am starting by asking everyone how you came to be a neighbor of ours. Are you from this area originally? How did you come to the place that you call home now?
I married into Chester County. That's what I did. With the Lafferty family, they're all over Chester County, and my nephew Chris's mom is my late husband's sister.
Okay.
And there's another Lafferty sitting in the back there. Hi, Joe. You know. Yeah, and so my great fortune to connect to this beautiful family, and that's my Chester County connection. I was actually born and had early childhood in the Midwest.
Okay.
And then we moved to Norristown, and then I married Jim Lafferty, and we moved to Philadelphia. So
How long have you been in this area?
Well, I was 8 years old when we moved from the Midwest to Norristown, and then school and whatnot here and there. But I've actually lived in the house that I'm in Philadelphia for 30 many years. 30-something. 86 was when.
I think if you
37 years.
If you moved to Southeast Pennsylvania when you were 8, I think you count as a local at this point. Well, so tell us a little bit about your organization, Just Listening. You've been with them since 2007. Did you found the organization, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, tell us a
Yes.
little bit about what Just Listening does and what path led you there.
Okay. So let me talk about the path first, and then I'll tell you what we do. So I am by training a lawyer, and went to law school. I laugh about this now. I went to law school to save the world, and I thought everybody else there was arrogant. So there's tremendous, you grow up, you're like, oh, well, there's a little hubris there. But it was this very exciting time of social justice, this idea that lawyers would represent people on the margins and that their voices would get amplified and heard. So that's why I went. And that's where I met my husband, and we together forged on in that wonderful work. It was a beautiful, deeply spiritual partnership that I had with Jim Lafferty of honored memory. So he died in 1999, very suddenly. That's a characteristic of my life. People very close to me just collapse and die, many. So our children were teenagers at the time, and I had to go back into law. I had been teaching undergrads for 15 years because of the schedule. So I went back, I ran the pro bono branch of legal services in Philadelphia, and also became trained as a spiritual guide. And in the course of all that, I kept thinking of Gandhi, who took a year to listen, because you need to listen deeply for guidance for ourselves, to hear what people on the edges want, what their hearts hunger are. So I was always captured with that. And in 2006, my only sister died. I'm one of 6, but she exited the planet very suddenly and unexpectedly. And that loss, like every loss, right? Let's be real. Every loss, every grief, every sorrow leads us to someplace new. And that one, I thought, well, just in case I missed the memo, what's essential for me to do in what might be a very short life? Who knows? And I thought, I want to listen. That's all I want to do. I had no money, no savings, nothing, but relying on the kindness of the universe, I thought I could cash in my retirement. So I put in my notice and I started just listening. Now, before that, I'd been doing communication workshops in the Equal Justice Conference and some national conferences, because it occurred to me, even doing that work, no one listens. We don't know how. We want to. We have these ears and very, very willing hearts. And you hear people trying it all the time, right? Oh, so what I hear you saying. Everyone thinks they're a good listener because they think they know what active listening is. Do we know what active listening is? No, we do not. It's, nodding. Oh, I hear you. Do you know how many people are irritated by that? By a nod? Or I'm going to look you in the eye. It's offensive in some cultures. But we try. We want to. We restate. How many times have you been in a meeting where you hear somebody say, oh, so what I hear you saying is, because they're trying, and your brain is going, that's not at all what that person said, or it's not what I said, so we try. So anyway, out of all that came just listening. And so what we do is we train, we do workshops, trainings, retreats, if it's a spiritual group, on effective communication. And after we chat a little bit, I'll tell you, I'll give you some insight into what that is that you can just carry right on out the door and practice. And then that work funds volunteer programs. We also, if an organization wants their own volunteer program, we train them how to do that. We train their people, supervise it for a bit, and then they're launched. But we also have our own volunteer programs. And so we train volunteers to listen to people on the social margins. And we have programs in the Kensington section of Philadelphia. We have 2 programs there. The largest program is at the former Greaterford, now SCI Phoenix prison, where we've trained over 200 men as listeners in the prison, the people who live there. So that's the work.
That's wonderful work. I can relate to so much of your story, actually. We were talking a little bit before we got started this morning, and Sharon asked me how I came to be in the ministry. And one step in my story was that I went to Swarthmore College undergrad, which is a very social justice-oriented school. It's a Quaker school. And I also left with that attitude of, I'm going to go save the world. And honestly, it caused me a lot of grief and a lot of stress for a while until I realized I can't save the world, that none of us does this on our own, that thinking we can come up with the right answers or the right solution, or that somehow we're going to be the one who figures it all out, how to fix it, it doesn't serve us. It doesn't serve us to think that. It's not good for us, and it's not good for the people we are supposedly thinking we're going to help or support. Yeah. And I had to learn a lot about the value of not assuming that because I read a book, it's not that it's bad to read books, it's not that it's bad to expand your experiences, but not assuming that I would know the solution when someone else has lived a whole life in a situation and can tell, anyone who's lived a situation can tell you a lot more about it from the inside than somebody who's read a book about it, no matter how much you care. So listening is key, and there are a lot of structures in our society that do not support listening to the people affected, to have them tell you what's needed and what's wrong. So we do need these practices. Yeah.
And also, it's not, so it's listening as an act of justice, but it's also asking the right question. And we'll talk a little bit about that. So we use a process called strategic questioning. And so listening as an act of justice it actually is rooted in the Abrahamic tradition of biblical justice, which is right relationship. Being in right relationship with another human, which means no hierarchy. It's coming from a place of profound mutuality, respect, recognizing the inherent dignity of every human person, also the rights of the more than human world, listening to nature, the world in which we find ourselves, and rooted in our common humanity. So that's what the justice piece is, and out of that spring all of the practices, all of the values, and how we respond. What is responding? That's as important as the listening. It's listening to ourselves, listening to each other, and responding from this place of, the phrase that we use is relentless compassion and radical humility, knowing we know nothing. Nothing.
That's a perfect segue, I think. Sharon, I want to give you a chance to talk with our community here and to have them talk with each other. So you have about 10 minutes to do whatever you want.
Okay, great. Okay, so these workshops and trainings, and I am not abandoning Reverend Lee. I told her I was going to do this. We worked this out. But I just thought this would be easier because I would really like to hear some things from you as well. So these workshops are somewhere between 4 and 6 hours, and we're going to do it in 10 minutes. So we're going to do some of it. What's that? So listen up. Go inward. All right. So the way this works, the sort of process, and Chris, can you hand those out? I brought everybody a little card. On the back is a practice, and once you all have them in your hands, I'll talk to them. There are many, many practices. And by the way, I think I will probably forget to say this. We just finished writing a collaborative book, 34 contributors, 5 co-authors, 1 voice. It's written in 1 voice. It's awesome. It's a little book. I don't know whether you're familiar with these little books of justice and peace building. So all of what I'm about to say is there, and they're tiny. They're for groups. They're $7 a piece, and so I left some cards out there on the information table just in case you're interested. They're on Amazon. It's not in hard print yet, but it will be in a couple months. Anyway, so the details are all in there. So the beginning practice is listening to ourselves. So let's just do a little bit of that. If you would, please, just reflect for a minute. And this is key. The first step is always reflection, not reaction. Think of the world we live in. Who's reflecting? Who's thinking before they open their mouths, going into your heart? Who does that? Hardly happens at all. So reflect. Think of a time when someone deeply listened to you. They didn't tell you what to do. They didn't give you advice. They didn't try to fix you, save you, change you, alter you in any way. They simply opened a space for you to speak into. Think of that. Think about how it made you feel. Feel how it made you feel. Okay. Anyone? How does it feel to be listened to in that way?
If I had to sum it up in one word, I'd say valid.
Yes. It validates us. We feel like we have something to say that is important, that somebody is respecting us. Think about when you're not listened to. Think of a time you were not listened to. And we could probably go back within the past 24 hours to find that. What does it feel like when someone does not listen to us?
I think especially what you were saying about the person trying to fix or intervene, it feels more about them, and it doesn't really feel like it's about you at all.
And it isn't. It isn't. That's called ego. We want to fix each other. Now, some of it comes from a good place. We want people to be happy. We want people to be contented. Most likely, we think they should be most like us. Oh, if you would do it my way, I have the answers, I have the keys. So here's the process. Looking at the clock. We hear through filters. We're unconscious of these filters. There are many of them. I just want to really quickly highlight 3. 1, our inner chatterbox. We think we're listening to somebody else. Who are we really listening to? We're listening to ourselves, right? All this unconscious inner chatter that is warping what we're hearing, and then what comes out of our mouths comes through me. Doesn't come through what you've said. Comes through this fuzz, because I'm not even really hearing you. You're not even finished a sentence, and I interrupt you. I think I know what you're going to say, and I think I know what I should say. And while you're talking, I'm thinking of a response. I want to be smart. I want to be helpful. I want to help you. Who asked you? Just listen. But if we're not aware that this is what's going on in our brains, we just do it. Second one, sociocultural filters. We think our way is the way everybody does it. What does it mean if I look you in the eye when I'm talking? What does it mean? How are you coded for that?
That you're paying attention and we're connecting with each other.
Yes. Absolutely. Ever met a predator? Look you in the eye. Shake your hand. Get to know you. We don't know. People are offended by things, but we think our way of doing things. Stereotypes about other people from cultures and backgrounds that are different. People very animatedly who are labeled, animated speakers, passionate speakers, labeled angry, especially black women. Angry black women. They're not angry, right? But we make these assumptions. So that's part of our whole sociocultural baggage, and we could go on for an entire weekend on that one, that we think we know. We don't know. Here's the radical humility. No, we do not know. And be curious. We don't know. Ask. If we don't ask, if we don't form a relationship with someone, we don't know. And the final one is ego. That's my personal favorite. And we all do this. I also have to say this. All of us do this. The goal here is not perfection. It's awareness. This is a spiritual practice. This is connecting to ourselves, knowing ourselves, acquiring self-knowledge about what hooks us. So what makes you defensive? What comment, what situations make you go, because we all have them, all of us. This is what it means to be human. What I love about this work is it's not so much about our identities, it's about our humanity. It's what we are all doing all the time. I can guarantee you that if I'm on my deathbed and a certain individual walks in, I'm going to feel some kind of way about it. I'm going to react. I'm going to be reactive. There is a person in my life who I'm so reactive to. Now, I know why. And do you know why? There's a part of me that I think is like something I don't like in her. So all of these ego, needing to challenge people, needing to be right, needing to explain. If only you saw it my way. That's how we lose. We can't be in relationship with people who think we're always going to argue with them. So who are our best teachers? Our family, our teachers, and our enemies. And that's a Buddhist thought, that's not mine. Think of the people who bug you the most. They're absolutely your best teachers. I wish we had more time. I wanted to talk to you. What's empathy? Let's maybe sort of round this out with just a little empathy, because that's at the core of this. Empathy and compassion are the core of this. And if we don't have compassion for ourselves, part of this is looking at the ways that we mess up and then going, oh, poor baby. No contempt. Never contempt. Compassion. If we don't have compassion for ourselves, we do not have compassion for other people. We might have pity. We might have sympathy, but we do not have compassion, which means we then can't practice empathy. So what's empathy? What is empathy? And we're hardwired for this. Our whole body system is wired for this.
Being able to put ourselves in the other's shoes and feel what they're feeling.
Can you do that? Let me ask you, because and actually there was research for decades that said exactly this. Walking in another's shoes. What happens when you put on, let me ask you, are those your shoes? Okay, if I gave you my shoes.
Might be a little tight.
How would you do in these shoes?
Walk painfully slow.
You'd walk painfully slow. Would you be experiencing being in my shoes the same way I do?
No.
No. No. So we can't walk in another's shoes if the point, we can, but then we just experience pain. If the goal is understanding, connection, that's what you're all about here, relationship, we can't walk in another's shoes. We have to do something else. Yes.
I think a lot of it is not assuming anything.
You know the old thing about assumptions. Assume. Look at the word, makes an ass of you and me. That's how you spell it. Ass, you, me, assume. Right? So if it's not about perspective taking, what is it? It's about perspective getting. And how do we perspective get? We ask. We respect someone. We take the time. This takes more time. We're in a frenzied world. You know, a lot of organizations want to say, well, come and do a 1-hour workshop. Like, nope. Because what will you get with that? Something to sort of think about and feel good. But will you get a skill? You will not. You will not. We need to take time to be with each other. What are we all craving, especially after COVID? Connection, relationship. What do we do? Time. We can all do this. This is super simple. This is a macro skill with micro cost. We can do this. So just a little practice on the back of that card, and then I really will stop because I think I'm going a minute over. So this is just a way to sort of encapsulate everything that I've just like rushed through. And it's a little practice called wait. Before we encounter any other human person, one, understand that this is a human being. This is another me. You know, so many spiritual traditions, it's all about unity. We are one. We are. All the differences, uniqueness, beauty, and it's great. Underneath it all, we are so connected. What's the expression? When you cry, I taste salt. When your belly rumbles, I'm hungry too. That's how close we are. So when we recognize that, when we encounter another human person, under whatever circumstances, wake up and wait. The W is the wake up. Recognize what you are doing. You are encountering another being, another God spark. And then become aware that we have these filters. You don't have to itemize them, just aware. Oh, wake up, I have these things, I'm going to push them aside. The I is intend understanding, intend to focus, and then be thoughtful and teachable is the last one. Don't fight with people. Say, tell me more. If you don't understand, say, oh, interesting. What in your life led you to that belief? Instead, we're, as a country, we're just wanting to beat each other up and cancel out people we disagree with. How's that working for us? So empathy, all of that, I wish we had more time. But thank you, and just listen, Have a good day.
Sharon, thank you so much for being with us today. I'm going to invite the band back on stage now for our last song. Thanks, Julie. And Sharon, I have a feeling you're going to have a lot of people wanting to chat with you at coffee hour, too. Let's take a moment now just to rest for a while. I'll invite you to join me in the spirit of prayer. Maybe you let your eyes fall closed. Maybe you notice if your shoulders are up at your ears, or if your heart and your chest is swirling after the different thoughts that have come up for you in the past few minutes. But right now, you can take a breath and allow yourself to simply be here with no expectation of you. No one is asking anything of you in this moment. You get to simply be. God, who has gifted us all this time and this life, the mysterious creator of everything we see and everyone we meet. This morning we take a moment to do nothing, to not move or speak, but simply to rest in the gift. And may we notice as we rest in this place what it feels like to be alive, what it feels like for our hearts to beat, and for our lungs to massage the insides of our heart, our ribs. What it feels like to have electricity firing through our brains. And may we simply appreciate the miracle that is being here together. For these prayers I've spoken out loud, and for the prayers that all of us are also carrying with us silently on our hearts this morning, we say amen.
Please rise for our final song today, Wild and Precious Life. I'm gonna sing from June till May. I'm gonna write a new song each and every day. Open my mouth if I've got something to say with this wild and precious life. I'm gonna love unconditionally. Love, love will set me free. Could open myself up to what this world has for me in this wild and precious life. I'm gonna run. Some gives me vitamin D. I find joy in every face I see. Life so high over green, green trees, never coming down. I'm gonna dance with the ones I love, dance with the spirits and the morning dove, dance to the drum deep inside of me with this wild and precious life. I'm gonna grow like every plant I see, from a sea to infinity. Grow from sorrow, happiness, pain, and joy in this wild and precious life. I'm gonna live with the fire in my soul, like wise old sage. I will never grow cold. And when I'm gone, one thing you can do for me is live a wild and precious life. Live a wild and precious life. A wild and precious life.
I don't know if you noticed, Andy's off today, so Rodney's being Rodney and Andy today, and two different musicians. And thank you for being a congregation that lets people take a break when they need it as well, and fills in. All right, this light may go out, but the spark that lit it to begin with is always with us. And together we say, as we release this flame from its faithful service today, we allow the spark in each of us to burn on, to warm our compassion, to fire our delight, and to light our paths today, tomorrow, and always. May we have much to listen to. May we be filled with the sounds of summer, the sounds of the people we love, the sounds that are discomforting. May we be open to all of it. And may we be open to music always, of course. So let's put our hands together one more time. Take us out.